Hey everyone, a little bit of a different video today. I just wanted to give my reactions and analysis of the new Ichiban Kuji that was just announced yesterday called the Chronicle of Goku. I think the trend of this set is that it's very stiff and that there are a few scaling issues. And I'm going to go through it prize by prize to show you what I mean. Huge disclaimer here is that these are pretty raw first impressions, and my opinion can change once we see multi-angles and the final production images, but I thought it'd be a fun exercise to show you what I think about the set and how I think we could improve them. So let's get started. Starting with prize A, we have Goku from his first appearance in Chapter 1 of Dragon Ball. Bandai always does a good job with replicating the folds from the original artwork. The only thing that I think is really weird is the shape of the head, and you can see with this original art is that his head is much bigger and much longer than what's presented here in the actual figure. So all I would do with this is to sort of just elongate his head a little bit. Just like that. And I think that makes it look a lot better. And it sort of elongates his eyes a bit, which is sort of more similar to what they have here in the original artwork. And I'll flip back and forth. Let's do prize B, which is Bulma, also from Chapter 1. Overall, again, I think they did a really good job with sculpting, replicating the folds in the clothing really well. The way that she's posed here in the figure versus how she's posed in the manga is I feel like her legs are a little bit too close together and makes her look a little bit stiff. So the one thing that I would do is just to move the leg out a little bit and then rotate her legs inward to give her feet a more dynamic stance. I think that moving her legs over a little bit makes her look a little bit more dynamic and reduces the amount of stiffness that you'll see sort of in later parts of the Kuji. Yeah, in fact, I think like when I look back to it, the original pose, it sort of makes it look like the leg is broken. Prize C is Super Saiyan Goku from his battle with Frieza. No big notes here. I think this is probably the best figure in the set. They did a really nice job here with the hair, making it flow, which makes this figure very unique. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the other side of the figure because similar to what they did with the child Goku with Korin, you only see it from this angle. I'm sort of excited to see what they do with the other side of his hair, with how his face looks from the other side. Next up is prize D, which is Super Saiyan 2 Goku from his first appearance. Really iconic pose of Super Saiyan 2 Goku. And while I think they tried to make it look one-to-one to the original artwork, I feel like there was a slight misinterpretation of the angle of how he's standing. So we're looking at the figure straight on at eye level, while the manga has him viewed from slightly below eye level. I'm judging this based on the shape of the obi, which is curved in the manga, and his boots being enlarged, and the legs are sort of foreshortened. I feel like the legs on the figure are basically the same length as the artwork, but they're sort of generated at the wrong angle, making them look a little too short. You can also see Goku arching his shoulders back and puffing his chest forward, while on the figure, it sort of looks like his chest and shoulders seem to be straight and aligned, lacking some movement. I'm not good enough with Photoshop to be able to puff his chest back, so to emulate that, I'm going to move his arms slightly to try to give him the same effect. Next, to fix his legs, I think the big giveaway that his legs are too short is the slit in his pants here. I've worked with enough Goku figures to know that this area is typically a little longer, so I'm going to extend his legs at the crotch level to make it look a little bit more balanced. Lastly, just to nitpick a little bit more, to make him look like he's arching his back, I'm going to angle his head upwards a little more. I wish my Photoshop skills were better so I can really puff his chest out the way I want it to be, but I think these small changes go a long way to give the figure some more movement and balance. Next up is Prize E, Majin Vegeta. This is another one where I feel like they got the wrong idea with how to pose this figure. Similar to Super Saiyan 2 Goku, Vegeta is sort of puffing his chest outwards, pushing his shoulder blades back, right? And you can tell that his shoulder's a little bit back, giving a nice curve. And I don't really think you get that with the figure. Here, his pose is very straight. Everything is straight. You don't get that sense of movement. Another thing that I thought was a miss with the posing is that, you don't really see the bottom half of Vegeta's body here in the source material. But while they decided to make the upper body look very buff, they didn't really do the same with the lower half, making the muscles look a lot more disproportionate than they should be, while also leaving his legs a little bit too close together, making the posing look a little stiff. So how would I fix it? First off, let's address the lower half of his body. The first thing I would do is to sort of address the disproportionate size of his leg muscles to his arm muscles and make his leg muscles look a little bit bigger. And then to make his stance look a little bit more powerful, I'm just going to change the angles of his legs a bit so that his legs flare out a little bit more. And that's it for the lower body. And similar to what I did with Super Saiyan 2 Goku, while I would love to be able to alter the skeleton to push his chest upwards and his shoulders back, with the 2D image, at least with my capabilities, I can't really do that. So instead, I'm just going to bring his arms in a little bit. And then I'll flare his arms out a little bit more to sort of simulate again that he's pulling his arms backwards a little bit. And let's do a quick before and after. Small little changes, but I think makes a big difference. Next up is Prize F, which is Ultra Instinct Goku, which is really telling, seeing as how they didn't go with a Daima Super Saiyan 4 or even a GT Super Saiyan 4, but straight with Super. But that aside, I think the biggest problem with this figure is its scaling, especially in the lower half. His legs seem to be super long, and his feet seem to be very small. So let's see what I can do to fix that. First off, let's make his shoes bigger. Next, I want to make his legs look a little shorter by pulling up his pant leg just a little bit. And we'll pull up the new larger boots up with it. Okay, I think that sort of fixes all my issues with his legs. But at the same time, we can make his arms also ever so slightly bigger. And also I think his head is a little bit too small too. So we'll just make that ever so slightly bigger. Okay, and that's my ideal version of this one. Let's do a before and after. Let me know what you think. Next up, we have the last one prize, which is the Great Ape Ozaru Goku. And I have to say, I'm not the biggest fan of what the sculptor did with this one. The biggest problem I see is in the head. First of all, it's a little bit too small for the rest of his body. And there are just not enough teeth in his mouth. As you can see in this manga panel, he has a full set of teeth with a variety of different sized teeth like molars and other fangs. But here there's a lot of spacing in between his teeth and it just sort of makes it look like, I don't know, he's just missing teeth. Some other nitpicky items that I'm not really a big fan of is there's missing some fur on the back of his palm. And something about the way that the nails on his feet make them sort of look like fingers, and it's a little bit off-putting to me. So let's see if I can address one of those issues, which is the lack of fur on the back of his hand. And I'll just copy and paste that. And I'll just move some of the fur here. And I think that sort of covers that. And then the second thing is that his head is a little bit too small. So I'll just make it ever so slightly bigger. That's a good size, I think. And then what I'll do is just add in a little bit of teeth with some bad painting skills. And you know what? Let's make his feet just a little bit bigger too. Alright, so here's what I did. And let's do a comparison to the original. I think this adds a little bit more balance to the figure and just makes it a little bit more of a more attractive product. So those are my thoughts and the kind of changes I would make to the Chronicle of Goku Ichiban Kuji. Let me know what you think of the changes I made. Do you agree? Do you like them the way that they are? Or what kind of changes would you make? Also, do you enjoy these kind of analysis videos? Leave a comment below to let me know. Make sure you drop a like and consider subscribing to this channel and the main channel. And who knows, maybe when this Kuji comes out, I can make these changes for real. Thanks for watching. See you next time.